Welcome to Fresno State's OCED office, where we are here live to provide our free legal training. This is the UC Business Practicum. We come down here every third Friday to tell you about the law in 15 minutes. We try not to bore you too much. We try not to put you to sleep. But today we're going to be doing one of our workshops that tells you about how to form a legal entity, what you need, and what entity might fit for you best. So come on down here any third Friday for office hours or for trainings, and look us up on our Practicum website and on the OCED website as well for the calendar of trainings that are going to be coming. So today's legal workshop is the Legal Tailor, which is what I'm doing today. Oh, please come on. Thank you. Today our workshop is the Legal Tailor. Which legal entity might fit well for your business? Okay? And then instead of just giving you sort of a boring overview of, well, this is a sole proprietor, this is an LLC, this is a corporation, instead we're going to do it as though I was fitting the person for a suit. Okay? So it's going to be in 15 minutes. This is not a substitute for legal advice, which is always okay. So into character. Oh, I've got my job. Oh, my first please come in. Welcome to the Legal Tailor Shop, where we fit your entity for your business for the right legal entity. What can I do for you?
Okay, so I'm starting a new business, and I think I need an entity. There are so many to choose from, and it's kind of confusing.
Oh, I know the law doesn't make it easy for you, but tell me a little bit more about what you're doing.
Okay, so I'm a single founder, but I'm able to add others in the knowledge. I think I want something on the slim side of the legal requirements, and nothing too expensive. So, what's the cheapest to file, and has the least amount of paperwork?
Well, you can form these legal entities for fairly little money, and paperwork and the formality, paperwork and the filings, that's really not so important.
So, what should I be looking for?
Oh, well, instead, there's really four things that are most important in choosing. So first thing I might think about would be to look at your head, actually. And what I mean by your head is your governing structure for your entity. So, tell me a little bit more about what maybe about your other founders and.
Yeah, so I don't want something that's too straining or too stiff. A little shorter decision making, but I'll probably be the head.
Oh, okay, very good. Well, there's a couple of legal structures you can have for that. You can have this hierarchical structure. Actually, let me give you something yeah. Yes, maybe try this one on. Okay. Now, this is what we call a corporation. Corporation has very trim lines, a very sort of hierarchical structure. Okay, so the head is very important. You have board meetings, you have minutes that you have to deal with on regulations. A lot of formalities to it, but it's kind of
Pretty nice.
It's pretty formal. Yeah.
It feels a bit fancy though. Maybe a little too constraining.
Well, there's the other kinds you can do. There's something more like an LLC we tell you about that has more of a governing structure with that you put together with your founders more informally. In fact, you identify what the profits are that they will take out, what contributions people need to make in order to get into the entity, and then also how you want to share decisions. It's a fairly flexible kind of thing. I don't know. So what do you think about it?
Doesn't feel right.
Yeah.
So, what is the best stressed businesses like this so much?
Well, people do ask for this a lot. They do because, corporate these funders, these capital funders come along and they want to see more of a hierarchical structure. They want to be able to control the entity with a 51% ownership share, and so there are a lot more formalities to something like that. If you're going to the capital ball looking for what I'd say would be stranger capital, people that you don't know, as opposed to angels who might know what you're.
I see. So, what other features are important?
Well, let's see. So there's the governance structure that we're talking about. Well, capital is another one. Corporate entity does raise capital pretty well, but some of our entities do cover that as well. But then there's also the tax. You have to think about the tax, right? Yeah, it's it's kind of important. You think about the different ways that your corporation pays tax. Now, this one here, this is a corporation, will actually pay tax itself to the government. Okay, it'll report, do a tax return, and pay taxes. Okay?
So how much tax would that be?
That's well, it's a little lot. Well, it's a flat 21% for the feds. Okay, and then you got 8% for the state of California. And then what happens is whenever you distribute profits, then there's going to be another dividend tax on top of that. Ouch. Yeah, but this is a lot of so there is ways to potentially avoid it. Now, let me find out a little bit more what you're doing because, if you're doing something charitable or, educational, maybe something like that, you could go for one of our tax-free models. So what do you do? What's your business now?
So could we just avoid those tax?
Well, that's what I mean. You take a nonprofit, but you got to do something charitable or educational. Is that what you're up to? Or?
Well, I have heard of that special 501c in line 3, Washington.
Oh yeah, well that is a nice line there, and we can fit you for that. But tell me what you're doing.
Okay, so we're mostly going to be producing fidget spinners, but I don't think they're going to be that much popular.
Oh, okay, but
For charitable.
well, actually, I very useful. I use them all the time. Yeah, that's fine with you. Well, it doesn't sound very charitable there. I think you're going to be talking about
So is there anything else we have to worry about?
Well, fortunately, all our models, our corporate models, and many of the other ones we show you here, have what's called limited liability for the lifetime of the suit there. So that means that, if somebody sues you, you can pretty much walk away from that. I mean, so you wouldn't be personally liable if you're
Okay, that's useful.
Yeah, well, there are ways that there are exceptions to liability. So, for example, any fool can sue you, but then there's if you do something negligent yourself, you engage in any kind of legal activity, then or if you personally guarantee a loan, for example, then this corporate shielding could cover that. But most of the time.
Mm-hmm. So this feels nice, but it's kind of sleek, so it's not too formal.
But wait, I was going to show you this LLC here. Wait a minute. Now the LLC, there's a little less formal, but let me see. Okay. We should think about that one. Okay, that looks pretty good. So still has the structure, but also it's a little bit more flexible. So you can arrange these arrangements, profit sharing arrangements, and capital arrangements, and decision-making arrangements the way you want with your co-founder.
Okay, so this does feel nice. It's kind of sleek and it's not too formal. Will this still protect me from personal liability?
Oh yeah, all of that, all of our entities here.
So how does this LLC work with governance? I mean, I like that it doesn't really go too stiff like the corporate board structures.
Yeah. So as I was saying, the three things you have to worry about are governance, what decisions are going to be made, but you don't have to. You can set that up pretty much any way you want. So for example, the designer of the fidget spinner here that you're talking about, that person is there, the technical person. They can make most of the technical. Whereas, like if you got somebody who's more like an accountant, they can make more accounting decisions. But you see, in the corporate situation, that doesn't work quite as easily. But in the LLC, you can set up in your government agreement that certain decisions are made by certain, and it doesn't have to be tied to how much money you put into it either. You can put in 100% of the capital and still share.
That sounds more like how I want to run.
I think so. Okay. Awesome. Well, I can make up one of these for you pretty quickly. I mean, let me tell you how to do it. So I'm going to, if you want me to go forward with this? Yes. Okay. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to create a, what they call an operating agreement for you with your co-founder. And that's where we determine those different aspects of governance and profit sharing and entrepreneurship. Okay. And then you're going to have to file with the state of California LLC one form. You pay $70. You can do that online. And then this operating agreement that I'll draft for you, should have it ready for you next week. will help you figure out things going forward with your numbers.
Sounds perfect for now.
Okay.
But what if I want to dress up for the venture capital in the future?
Oh, yeah, well, there's no problem switching over to the more formal corporate arrangement. In fact, they might even pay you to do that for you. The venture capitalists who
Excellent. I'll take it.
Okay.
So what are the next steps?
Well, here, let me take it up here. I'll work this up, do the LLC operating agreement, and should be ready for you in later.
All right. Sounds good.
Okay. Well,
All right. Thank you. Take care. Have a good day. Bye-bye.
All right. Oh. Oh, looks like we have another customer. Oh, madam, please.
I'm a good man.
Yes.
I need to fit for a Delaware C Corporation.
Oh, well, we can definitely do that for you. But yes, tell me a little bit more about what you need.
Well, I've heard they're the best and that we want to look best for the type of investor we are looking to meet.
Oh, which would be.
Oh, anybody. Everybody's going to love the idea we have.
Oh,
A
gotcha.
Fitbit, but for your dog.
Oh my God.
And we even have a social mission with it. 10% of the sale proceeds will go to non-killed shelters.
Good. Excellent. Well, I could get you for the Delaware C Corporation, but that is so you say you're going to be looking for maybe venture capital,
Absolutely.
like in the next year.
Well, we have to come up with a prototype because we don't have yet. For Mastiffs, a bigger one, and for Chihuahuas, a tiny one.
Yeah, kind of smaller.
Yeah.
Okay.
But we don't have any money right now.
Oh, I see. Okay, well, I could fit you for that, and many people want to do that, but it is the most expensive arrangement that you have because if you file in Delaware, many people do want to file in Delaware because it has these business-friendly courts where the judges all know business law, and then their filings are very fast. You can do it online and all that. But let me ask you this: are you going to be operating in Delaware?
Oh, hell no. Only in California.
Oh, okay. Well, see, that's where it gets expensive because if you file in one state and then you're operating in another state, you're going to be paying two states' taxes. You're going to have an attorney who knows the law in both states. You see, so it's very expensive.
Ouch.
Yes.
Can this be cut down?
Well, actually, a number of investors do like the California Corporation, as opposed to Delaware. Here, actually, let me see. I got a nice Delaware, California Corporation right here. Looks good. Can you try this one out? Yeah, okay. Yeah, Delaware is fine, but California, you got eBay and you got Yahoo and you got Apple. I mean, all of those corporations are sort of not hurting for investment. And I think that looks very
It looks pretty nice. Is this cheaper?
Yes, it is because you only are filing in one state, and so it's really only $100 to file in the state of California. A few other documents that I'll.
What about the social mission?
Oh, yes, well, the social mission. Well, I don't have it over in this one here, but the social mission can be sewed into the lining of this here. If I take it, I can sew that in. Because, you want that no-kill shelter kind of thing because what'll otherwise happen is the shareholder will say, well, wait a minute, you're not maximizing profits, but you want to have this extra mission too, which may not mean that you're maximizing. So that's why you want to have that social mission sort of linked into the entity's formal document.
So let's go for a California Social Purpose Corporation
Okay.
with entity level taxation.
Yes, entity level. This would be an entity that would pay tax itself, and as I said, it'll be less tax.
Yeah. Okay. So we need like board.
Yes,
meetings.
all these formalities. This is one of the downsides of the corporate form is you have to have minutes, you have to have a board meeting, you have to do your filings of taxes and all of this. It's not for everybody, but investors do very much like it.
Perfect. So what do I owe you, and when will this be ready?
Oh, well, toward the end of this week, I can make that happen. You're doing great. I want to make sure I put that social lining right in there. Yeah. Oh, that would look real nice there. In fact, oh gosh. Yeah, another thing, there actually is another thing you can do, which if you wanted to do that social mission, and that's if you have a for-profit corporation, well, then it can have a companion nonprofit. Nonprofit then gets the profits from but do you think you want to do the corporate with the social purpose?
Yeah, for sure. Thank you.
Yeah, that'll be easy. So just come on in later in the week. It's $100, and then I'll put the corporate articles together for you. And then you'd also do a shareholder agreement. Shareholder agreement is so that the shareholders, you don't want them selling stock to anyone you want. So you want some research. So you can have your bylaws, your shareholder agreement, and then those articles of incorporation.
Oh, okay. Thank you, then. See you later.
Oh, well, very good.
Thank you.
Oh, ooh. That is our workshop for today. Thank you very much for coming in. So we'll take some questions if anybody has any questions about forming an entity for your business. Okay, well, that's all right. Come on in and see us any third Friday here. We'll have some office hours and we can help